Thank you.
You are looking fabulous. What's really lovely is I've been doing these for a long time now. We've been doing these for quite a few months, and it's light outside.
I know. It's just
Woohoo! It's light outside, everybody. Thank you for coming on tonight, Bhavya. My name's Ree Pearson, and I am the author of Be Kind, No Excuses. For anybody who's in this group, I was going to say hello, good evening, and welcome, but that's somebody else's line, isn't it? So thank you for coming into the group and watching this. If you're watching live, thank you very much. If you're watching on replay, also thank you very much. Tonight, we have the honour of Bhavya Arora, who is the head of Forward Focus London, which to me sounds like an amazing business that you have, Bhavya. So would you like to introduce yourself to everybody, please?
Yeah, thanks, Ree. Thank you for having me here, and it's amazing being here. So, everyone, hi. For those who don't know me, I'm Bhavya Arora, and I'm an executive life and a growth coach. I help professional men and women advance in their careers, small business owners, and new entrepreneurs take their business, grow their business to a second, third, and a fourth level. I work with startups where they have all their dreams, their vision on blueprint, but they can never take it off. So I help them to go from a dream to a reality stage. And all this I do. So finally, each one of us can have that courage, that strength to take that quantum leap, that jump towards our vision, to what we want to achieve to ourselves, and to the word success, because that means something so different to each one of us. And the word success itself is self explanatory. It is successful in whatever you want to do in life. But having that faith, the courage, the clarity, and the confidence to do it, that is my job. That is where I come. And I also host something called the Empowerment Coaching Club. It's a free lunch and learn. I have it every Thursday at 1 p.m. for 30 minutes. And it's free because I believe in the concept of paying it forward. Somebody helped me once, and I want to help everybody around me. And all I do in that 30 minutes is when you come with your sandwich, your salad, your pasta, your tea, your coffee, whatever you want, I dissect and I dwell deep into a topic. We've covered things like procrastination, spring cleaning you inside out, decluttering, stress, burn, anxiety, and loads of topic. My followers, my clients throw the names of the topic, and those are the ones I dwell deeper into. I give you tips, skills, I share with you coping mechanisms so you can overcome these emotions, these feelings, these mindsets which are holding you back, and you can go where you want in your life. And in fact, today's topic, what we're going to talk about, discrimination against women as well as empowerment of women, especially in India. It's all to do with your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You shift people's mindset, you give them the confidence and courage that they can stand up for themselves, they can make their dreams come true, they can have their own identity, they can be respected, valued, and treated as an equal. And they have a right to be treated as an equal because we are born as equals.
Yeah.
So that is what I do. I help people to get the courage and the confidence to stand up for
Yeah.
themselves.
That's really interesting. I've got loads of questions, actually. Loads of questions. So if anybody else has got any questions, please put them in the comments. And sometimes I can't see who you are because if you've clicked on the StreamYard link, I can't see what your name is when you put the question up. So if I can see Annalise and then I can see somebody else, but I don't know who you are. So hi to both of the people who've commented. But I think the second person, I can't see who you are. So if you want to put your name and then put a question, and if we can't answer it tonight, we'll come back into the group and answer the questions in the comments. That's fantastic. Bhavya, I'm really interested in talking about female empowerment in India. Now, as a white woman based in the UK, I've never been to India yet, so I will go. But I have been fed a stereotype of what Indian culture and life is like. And you're talking about changes that are going on. So would you like to tell everybody about what's going on there? Because the stereotype that I have been fed is that Indian women are very subservient, pay a very second-class role to their husbands. But on the flip side of that, in my professional life, in my previous career as a police officer, I actually met quite a few Indian women who were living in the Northeast, and none of them were like that.
Yeah, so in fact, it's a great point. Yes, it is just basically, it is very stereotyping. Years ago, I grew up in India. I'm living in London last 20 years, and I go back to India every 6 months. So I've seen India evolve and change.
Yeah.
Yes, when I was growing up, when I was very young, it was a man's role. Women had to be subservient to their husbands, to society, to the in laws. Again, within that, there were pockets of women, don't get me wrong, standing up, fighting for their rights, getting recognized and heard, but it wasn't easy. Now, when I see India, it's changing, it's evolving. 1 in 5 women are actually saying that there is equality. They're getting where they want to in life. And there's so many women empowerment movements, women activists empowerment movements. People are going into, from the west, actually people are going into little remote villages in India where there's no electricity even,
Mm-hmm.
where the men have been ruling all these years. And what they do is they educate these women from basic things: how to look after your daughter, how to look after your son, right of education to son and daughter, basic women hygiene. These women are finally getting together and they are standing up as little leaders in their village. They've
Mm-hmm.
been given roles to create things in their house and sell them by NGOs. So
Yeah.
each woman now is becoming a leader. A lot of them can't even write or spell.
Mm-hmm.
They still use the thumbprint traditional way, but what they are, their mindset is changing. They do not want their daughters to undergo what they underwent. They don't want their daughters to be stuck in a mud house, in a thatched house, cooking, cleaning, ironing, working in the fields, and getting always, I would say, grinded down by society. They
Yeah.
want them getting out of the village, being English educated, having a right to education, maybe going to a city and working. A lot of the women working in call centers and outsourcing places in India actually have left little remote towns and villages and
Mm-hmm.
actually started coming to work in the city and sending money back home. For me, that's women empowerment. First, for leaving a village or a town where these women have never even gone anywhere without their mom or dad,
Mm-hmm.
not set foot outside the village to come to big cities, commercial cities, financial hubs where they're working, and they're treated with respect, the same salary as a man.
Oh, right.
So
Right.
this is great women empowerment. Also, there has been a lot of laws changing in India
Right.
where Me Too movement has started,
Mm-hmm.
where women are protected for sexual harassment, be it at home, be it at school, be it at university, at workplace, everywhere. So laws are changing to protect women. So there's so many factors now helping women to not just empower themselves, but society's empowering them. Because what they're realizing, women are dedicated, they are hard workers,
Yeah.
and they have equal, if not more brains than men. They can multitask. It's
Yeah.
not that I have a headache and I will not look after my kids or do a job. Do it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is what's coming. We have women politicians, women CEOs, women in soup, in STEM, I mean, in science and technology, in medicine. How many women? The days are gone when they just have to be nurses.
Yeah.
They are actually doctors now. They're commanding the positions. In banks, the days are gone in international banks and even local banks where women are just sitting in a customer service. They're actually behind counting the money. They're taking important decisions. They're heading bank and branches. So this is how India is changing with women empowerment. And it's clearly because it just takes one woman to stand up and speak,
Yeah.
one woman to have that courage. And so many other women are standing up. Because if you don't do it now, what an example, a role, or a mentor you're going to be to your sons or your daughters too. And why do I say sons first? Because if they cannot respect and accept for who their mom is or their sister is, how are they going to accept and respect their wives?
Yeah. That's a big thing for me actually, because I was a single mum for a long time, and I have two sons and a daughter, and I had to, in my mind, I had to set that example for my daughter, because, and she's amazing actually. She's got an amazing role within health, and she's only 26, and I think she's just clever anyway. I mean, I didn't make her clever. I I just give her that sort of role model of work, hard work, and not so much hard work, it's like sensible work. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't going to ever settle for anything that wasn't going to intellectually stimulate me.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think it's really also important to see that a lot of the way we are in society is going to be a pushback, isn't there? Because the people who are in power see, because feminism is the opposite of the imbalance of power, isn't it? But the people who are at the head of the food chain, the men, especially the white men, see that feminism is disempowering them, and it's not disempowering them. All we're asking for was like removal of the barriers that will help us get to where you are. We don't want to put barriers in your way. We just want the removal of the barriers that get in our way. And I think it's important that men need to know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what I've been noticing, we talk of India, but I'm also looking at London and in the Western culture. You look at banking, you look at law.
Mm-hmm.
Women find it so difficult to rise. It's just a minute you have a child, you're like a second class citizen.
Absolutely.
Can't throw you
Career
out.
suicide, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they can't throw you out because tick the box. I need the woman on this position. But how involved are you? I've been noticing in so many companies, the chain of command is men, men, white man, men, men, man. And
Yeah,
I don't see much of color, be it
yeah,
banks, law firms, insurance, big insurance. I'm talking of big companies. I just see mainly the white. I don't see colored, even colored men, let alone women.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. The
So,
hierarchy is like the old school tie is very much still in place. Certainly, I understand
yeah,
the chambers. It's practically impossible to get into chambers, isn't it?
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's something. And do you know what I find really frightening? If I think too much about it, right? And I do think too much about it, but the people who cannot get onto that, into that profession, whether it's science, law, whatever it is, the people who have the barriers to prevent them getting in because of that white male dominance, maybe that person that doesn't get in is the person who will cure the common cold,
yeah,
but they didn't get in.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? That maybe that person there knows how to create some kind of amazing crop, so that we don't, because as a planet we're facing serious famine in the future because of the birth rate, and the planet's not going to be able to sustain us. But maybe the person who was maybe a woman, or a man of color, they were the person who's going to invent that, but they're not going to, because the barriers in their way and they never get into that school. That terrifies me, actually. I think far too much about it. But
yeah. But
it's the people who don't get the opportunities who create, because evolution's really stupid. Evolution only deals with the next problem. It doesn't have foresight. It doesn't have like a 20-year game plan. Evolution just deals with what it has to deal with right now. So it's not that clever, really, when
yeah,
you think about it. But we've got to go through each of these steps, and we're still facing these barriers, and we need to explain to these people who don't have barriers. Does that make sense?
yeah, I absolutely understand, Ree, because I know some friends and they've not, especially the women, have lost out on becoming senior partners in law firms, you know, because they've had a kid. That means, what if you're never around? But how can you never not be around?
Yeah.
But if you have one day sick because of a child, you have it. Do not become senior partners. I know people in banks have not got promotion, some
Mm-hmm.
of my clients. And it's funny, it's men and women. And they just feel maybe our English is not perfect because it's not our first language, but you're super bright. In fact, one of my clients quit an investment bank in the city and he said, I'm done with it. I'm going to start something and have my own identity. And he's gone into exactly what he said. He said, the world is changing. We're not going to have food. All the minerals, everything gets scarce. He's gone into working with the Californian startup to do, he's a co founder, sustainable living.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And we were just talking. He's been my client for over 2 years. And I said, how do you like it? He think it's the best thing that happened. I have to salute the bank guys because if that would have not happened, I would have not aligned with my purpose
Hmm.
to do what I'm
Yeah.
doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
My purpose is creation, and I'm actually creating stuff for generations to come. So they'll never be
Wow.
their sustainable living. And he's saying, do I miss the bank? Of course I miss. I miss the thrill, the glamour, the rush. But in the long run, I'm happy what I'm doing because
Yeah.
I was pushed out of that. I found an opportunity here.
Yeah.
And I see
That's
that.
amazing. What a fantastic life. I'd like to see him. I'd like to go and do something like that, do some sustainable work. That's amazing.
But
So
I know,
let's talk about confidence. What you said earlier about people often have a blueprint of what their business idea is, and you get that blueprint into reality.
yeah,
So how do you work on somebody's confidence? Can you just give us a little bit of, like, obviously don't give everything away,
yeah,
but I find it really interesting because I meet so many amazing people and they've got these great ideas, and then I see them like down the line. I say, what happened with that great idea? And oh, I haven't done it yet. Like, what if I'll be criticized? What if somebody says what if it's a stupid idea and it's not going to be successful? I guess that part of what you do in your business is to help people get over that.
absolutely, Ree, because it's a lot to do. A couple of factors involved. Okay. One is fear of failure. And I don't
Mm,
believe in failure. I believe failure is learning.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. People don't want to make mistakes. Again, there's nothing like mistakes, it's learning. A lot of people have this inner critic voice. I'm just not good enough. They don't have confidence within themselves that they can make something happen. They can grow a plan into a business.
Mm,
And a lot of it is to do with confidence because when are you lacking confidence? One of the main reasons for low confidence is when you're continuously valuing your worth to your outcome. That's one of the big reasons. If I'm not successful, I'm a loser. But if I'm successful, I'm super good.
yeah.
Secondly, when you're constantly looking for outside validation, constant outside validation, asking everybody for their opinions and their advice, it's not going to be in sync with what you have in mind because it's your baby, it's not theirs. So getting your own plan, your own blueprint getting diluted because of other people's judgments. Thirdly, it's also because your purpose, your alignment, your values, nothing's in sync.
Mhm.
Because you have this amazing idea on paper. You've actually made the entire blueprint. It looks phenomenal. But there is something that's missing. That zing, that umami. And that could be one of the other contributors is it in sync with your purpose or in your value in life?
Mhm.
Is it where your passion is?
Yeah.
Very often, if you start a business where you have no interest in, just thinking, I'll make this kind of money, very often I've noticed it doesn't even take off from the ground.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of contributing factors to why a blueprint doesn't take off. And when I work with my clients, literally we strip everything down to the basic.
Mhm.
We work with the purpose, we work with the values, we work with the emotions holding them back, the fears, the inner critic, and what challenging situations they're running away from. It's also getting them out of the comfort zone. So basically, let me instate, when I mean getting them out of the comfort zone, that does not mean going straight from the known to the unknown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Increase your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Take baby steps.
Yeah.
Even if you fall, you can get up faster, gain the confidence, get more resilience, take larger steps. Again, you'll fall. That's fine. You'll get up much faster because you know what to expect. I'll fall, I'll rub my knees, and I'll move on.
Yeah.
It's also moving from the fear stage to the learning stage to the growth stage, which will finally take you to the success stage.
Yeah.
So there are a
Yeah.
lot of factors involved. So there's never like a fixed plan, which I have a common plan with all my clients because nobody is the same. Everybody is different.
Mhm.
So I work with each client individually and see where we need to begin with them. And that's the way it goes. On various factors we work. I give them skills, I share with them tips, some sheets. And yes, the work finally has to be done by them. I'm
Mhm.
there to provide a framework. I'm there to
Yeah.
give you guidance, to mentor you, to provide some tips, coping mechanisms, to empower you, in gaining some clarity, awareness. But finally, you have to do the work. I'm not a fairy godmother that I can put a wand across your blueprint and it's successful. You have to put in work. And finally, it comes down to my final question. So, what are you choosing for yourself?
Yeah, great question.
What are you choosing? You can sit here with me, Ree, and we can have a 1 hour, thing about confidence or about why women are empowering themselves. But finally, everything comes down to just one thing. What option are you going with? What are you choosing for yourself wisely? That's
That's
the important
that's
factor.
a really good question. What are you choosing for yourself? And I think a lot of the work I do with women who, I mean, my work started off with prevention, but by default, you end up talking to a lot of people who've been in abusive relationships. And anybody can do what needs to be done. You have to be very careful about how you do it. But it's like, and this is something we talked about just before we came live. It's like, what are you going to settle for? Are you going to settle for less than you really want? Are you going to let your self doubt get in the way your entire life of what you really want, what your real passion is, what your mission is on this planet? Or are you going to work on yourself to overcome those barriers to be the best kind of you that you can be?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Ree, saying that, I was at a networking event and I met this amazing woman, absolutely amazing woman, a victim of domestic violence. And she was very open about it. And she says, I cannot speak in public. I don't feel confident. This, but at the end of it, all we could do is clap because she does not realize how confident she is, how much inner strength she has. I told her, you should go and speak in public. You're natural, you're an inspiration for so many women. And she says,
Yeah,
no, I won't do it. And that's again down to choice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody's saying a situation. I'm just going to have a quick look at them.
Sure.
Everything is a choice, a hard one maybe, but always a choice. That's
Absolutely.
absolutely true. And
Who's,
sometimes it's a choice that's a choice not to do something right now.
yeah, that's even fine.
Hmm.
But I look at it as when I look at choice, is that very often when people feel, okay, if I take this path, if I'm choosing this, all my worries should go away. And I always say, no, don't go with again result oriented. Your concerns may not go away easily.
Yeah.
Nothing happens overnight, but at least you know you're going in the right direction. So choosing is very important. And again, people have to understand there's no right or wrong or good or
Hmm.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today, if I choose to do the show with you and I totally mess up, that's even fine because still I did not choose to do the show. I would not know where to work on myself to be better for the next one.
Exactly. It's all absolutely learning, isn't it? Like
All
everything
very
is
relevant.
learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
if it works now, it works now. If it doesn't work tomorrow, look at other options. We
yeah.
are so lucky.
Yeah. That somebody said is in a situation where you've been financially abused, the biggest barrier I find is finance. If I put a post in the group about financial abuse, it goes crazy because financial abuse is a big thing. Now I know we haven't got time to talk about that right now, but one of the things you do is obviously you're working with people who are in like starting their business. Um, do you find that people struggle to get things off the ground, or do you work with people who you can they can get started and it doesn't have a big financial um, start starting costs, or do you work like right from like one end of the spectrum to the other?
I work with both. Okay. So I've worked with people who literally hardly had money. Okay. And they had a great plan,
Hmm.
no confidence to go out and get a loan, no
Yeah.
confidence to go and get investors. Money was one of the biggest, like a dag on top of the head. I work with them. I've also worked with people where they come from a very well off background, but the
Hmm.
husband will not give them money to start their own business.
Yeah.
So they feel it's like a gun always pointed on the head,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
you feel like a puppet in somebody else's hand. I've also worked with them, and rather than going for a big business plan, we scale it down to the level which needs basic or no financial investment.
Yeah.
We work around how they can approach people to get loans, how they can get people to become co-founders of the company.
Yeah.
Maybe silent partners, but partners who pump in some money. So I
Yeah.
work with everybody on both the spectrums. But to answer the person's question, financial abuse, I see that a lot among my female clients, where they cannot ask for a divorce, they cannot walk out, they cannot have an identity because they are so scared that the strings, the money strings, will be pulled out of their hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's a constant fear. It's something, imagine taking a little bottle and pushing yourself into a tiny bottle and shutting the lid. You feel trapped. There's
Mhm.
no space to breathe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Financial abuse is huge. Absolutely
Yeah.
huge. So we're going to end on that, but I want before you go, because we're coming up to 8:30 now. I appreciate you've given half an hour of your time, and I really do appreciate. I know how busy you are. Tell me something fun that you're going to do this weekend.
Okay. So, firstly, Ree, I want to thank you for starting Be Kind, No Excuses, because it's an inspiration for women and people. Women finally have a place where they can voice how they feel, where
Mm,
you listen. So, thank you.
you're
And what
welcome.
am I going to do this weekend? All right, don't judge me. I'm going to join. I'm going to go to a place called Dance Work in London, and
Yeah.
I am going to do a 90-minute class on 90s street dancing.
Oh my God.
So I have this passion that I want to dance, and I have two left feet. I have no four. Maybe I'm a 51-year-old grandmother sitting there. I don't care. I'm going to do. So I will
Brilliant.
keep you guys updated on it, and we can have a little giggle about it later.
That's fantastic. Oh my God, that would be brilliant. Take photographs.
Oh
Thank
my
you so
God.
much. Thank you so much. If anybody else has got any questions, please put them in for Bhavya. That would be brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Thank you to anybody who's watching on YouTube. And that is brilliant. Thank you so much, and good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye bye.